Yo, and welcome everybody. Welcome back to Chess.com's YouTube channel. International Master Danny Rensch here, and one of the things that I do over on Chess.com is member analysis video lectures. I try to do them every August into September, where members submit their games throughout the year in a thread that you can see here in this pop-out annotation here on YouTube, where members play games and submit them for analysis by grandmasters. And if they're lucky enough, they even get an idiot international master like myself to go over their games. So these videos are going to be kind of quick. These are not necessarily games that made the cut for an entire video lecture, not because of any specific reason that I am looking down on anybody that's playing the game. Don't take it personally, right? We're all big boys here. But just because we don't have time to review every game, and I like to use this YouTube channel to review some of the games that have an instructive moment or 17 and are worthy of a little bit of a review. So this game was submitted to me by member Josh J. Brown 96. His name is J. Brown 96. And here he played a French. Started out with e4, e6, and actually it's transposed from d4, e6, and then d5. And after e5, we have an advanced variation of the French, which is one of the most typical ways to play the position. White establishing a small space advantage because his farthest pawn is further up the board than black's. That's called a space advantage. And now black makes a very bad move, a very awkward positional move, knight to c6. Though there are some lines in the French, some side lines that black has played at times with this move, knight to c6, blocking the c-pawn, and with some other slower positional ideas in mind, the basic general positional evaluation of this move is that it's a blunder. Because whenever you have a very clear direction you should be attacking in, which is usually defined by your center pawn structure, the last thing you want to do is block the ability to bring more pieces and to gain more space on that side of the board. So the best move here for black, without a doubt, is the move c5. This move increases pressure on the center, the knight comes out behind the pawn, and then black usually continues an attack as in typical means of the French, bringing the queen out, etc. If you want to check out the video that describes the basics of the French opening, you can click right here, this annotation you see, and see my intro of the French defense in our chess openings playlist. Knight to c6 is played, and after just a few natural moves here, white establishes a pretty big advantage. Now, if I was white in this position after bishop b4 check, what would I play here? Probably c3. There's no reason for me to play the move that white did. I would attack the bishop, gain a tempo, and ask this bishop exactly where it intends to go. There aren't really any happy choices. Back to f8 would be a clear waste of time. To e7 ends up in a position where it's wrestling the knight over its natural developing square, because coming here would allow a capture. And to a5 is a move that just puts the bishop out of play. I could consider moves like b4, but it's not even something I need to do, because I don't need to force the issue when my opponent has already created such terrible dysfunction on his queen side. So that's the lesson for J. Brown 96. In fact, the only real big mistake he made in this game was how he approached the opening. After bishop b4 check, his opponent, though, played knight to c3, which allowed J. Brown 96 a little bit more freedom to make a trade. Whenever you have less space, if you can trade off some minor pieces, that means less pieces wrestling over the few squares you have. So that's another reason why knight to c3 is a little bit awkward. Though after bishop takes and takes, I can't really fault white for anything up to here. White has the bishop pair. Complete domination over the dark squares potentially, because black's absence of that minor piece. And if white had played natural moves here, moves like bishop to d3 and castles, I have a very hard time seeing any good plan for black. The knight blocks the c-pawn, which in turn prevents the queen from coming out, which also in turn keeps this bishop really bad because there's no counterplay for black coming. So if you evaluate this position in general, you see that black is really not in very good shape. And a move like bishop d3 also sets up a very common trap that if black castles thinking that nothing's wrong, we've seen this trap before. This is known as the Greek gift, baby, right? The Greek kebab. Everybody loves themselves a little lamb kebab. Bam, slam, jam, and cram. And then thank you, ma'am, because I like to eat lots of flan, and that's checkmate. Now, of course, queen e7 is not forced, but even other moves lead to bad business here for black. This is known as the Greek gift sacrifice, the bishop on h7. It's a very common mating net that is very difficult to stop. So black probably could have walked right into that, and even if he sees it, black's position is not that great. Let's say he plays a move like h6, it's not very easy to get out. So everything up to here suggested that white was about to have a very great game, and now white starts along the wrong plan, plays the move c4, which The last thing you want to do when your opponent has less space is trade minor pieces and change the pawn structure. In this situation, white starts opening up the position, and though white should still have an edge for a few more moves, it gives black some counterplay that was unnecessary. And these last couple moves, c4 and taking, are doing nothing, as you can see, but basically bringing black's pieces out. Queen a5 check, bishop d2. I looked at this position and I said, okay, well, it's hard to say, even with my criticism of c4, that white's position is really that bad. Again, a simple move like bishop d3 with ideas like taking here, and even if black sees it, moves like castles. Let's just evaluate this. White has the bishop pair, an absolutely dominant center. Black's down in development. Probably I would pay money to have a position like this against a strong player. This is the kind of game that, without a material advantage, you're talking about a position that it's about as winning as possible without any sort of concrete material advantage. So this is still a bad position for black. But here black gets out of it because of white's overzealousness. Maybe white just didn't understand that the space advantage really needed to be built up on, and the strength needed to be built by developing the pieces naturally. Instead, white gets a little bit overzealous, and with moves like bishop b4 and then taking the pawn, ends up allowing a tactic where black picks up the bishop, and eventually black can go on to win this game up a piece. White does get the piece back with this whole pass d pawn, which may not have been totally necessary for black to allow. Although, if white had just played d7 now, I think white would have gotten the piece back. So even with it, you're looking at a position where white's position was so good that even with some mistakes by black, white managed to sort of work its way back into an equal position. But you can tell that winning the piece back is now coming at a price, with white's king being in the center, moves like knight takes e5 being on the table. If any one of these rooks grabs the d file and the e5 pawn falls, you might see white get himself in a little bit of trouble here. So the cost of winning back material after the blunder by white ends up getting white in just as much trouble. As usual, my adopted student, as I call them whenever I go over their games here in Member Analysis Month, is probably upset. Most of them submit their games and always want me to just highlight the wonderful things about the game, but usually all I end up doing is making them regret that they ever even contacted me via message on Chess.com. No, I'm kidding, but I just wanted to highlight for him, that's the best way for him to get better at the things he could have done out of the opening. Though this position ends up going well for him from here on out, a lot of it was due to white's over-pushing of the position when black had really gotten himself in positional trouble with his approach to the opening. But let's see how our member J Brown 96 cleans up business here. Brings the rook to d8, I love that, and then takes on e5. And as the position opens up, it becomes more obvious that white, as we said, is in trouble. Bishop to e2, the knight comes to d4, and at best, white is going to be losing a piece now, if not getting checkmated. Rook to b2 allowed the move that was played, knight f3 check, though should be noted that just taking and giving check here was actually pretty much just as good, because it's going to be checkmate pretty soon. So knight takes e2 might have actually been even better than this discovery to go pick up the rook on b2. But we're not going to criticize it anyway, because after a few more moves, black was winning, wins the exchange, and goes on to win this game after rook of fb8. This pawn's falling up the exchange, and an easily winning position for black. Again, I guess the final moment that he should note is that knight takes e2 followed by queen to a1 check was probably a little bit faster way to do it. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. A little fast, a little furious, but that's because we try to keep our YouTube channel videos a little short, and you're screaming at us, why, we want more, we want more. Well, we have full video lectures by chess players better than myself over on Chess.com, which you can click here to go check out our video library. Yes, we are a business. Yes, we would like you to subscribe to those videos, and yes, we think it's worth it. So stop screaming at me, and stop complaining about all the free content you get on YouTube, right? And go play chess on Chess.com. I love you guys. See ya.